Her first memories were of the deep, a flowing world of endless blue where thoughts moved like the currents, silent and powerful. She was Metis, a daughter of the old sea gods, and her mind held more secrets than the ocean held creatures. Wisdom wasn't something she learned. It was the very water she swam in, the air she breathed. Then came the storm, not of water, but of lightning and ambition. He was a young god named Zeus, his eyes crackling with a fierce energy that promised to remake the world. He spoke of his father, Cronus, a tyrant who ruled through fear and had swallowed his own children to prevent them from challenging him. Zeus was the one who escaped, and he burned with a righteous fury that called to her. She saw in him not just a warrior, but a king in the making, and she knew her wisdom could give his power a purpose. It was her idea, the poisoned cup, a simple, elegant solution. She devised a potion disguised in sweet nectar that would make the old king sick. She watched from the shadows as Zeus offered it to his father. She felt a quiet, sharp pride as Cronus drank and, with a great, shuddering heave, brought forth the gods he had devoured. The war that followed was a clash of mountains and thunder. But with her counsel as his sharpest weapon, Zeus's victory was certain. Years later, he made her his queen. For a time, their reign felt like the dawn of a golden age, a perfect balance of power and wisdom. Love was a quiet, steady current between them. She felt a new life stir within her, a daughter, and her heart swelled with a vision of their future. But peace in the world of gods is a fragile thing. A rumor, born from the ancient earth itself, reached Zeus's ears. It was a prophecy, a poisonous whisper that soured their perfect world. It foretold that Metis would first bear him a daughter, wise and powerful. But their next child, a son, would be destined to do to Zeus what Zeus had done to his own father, take his throne. She saw the change in him immediately. The way he looked at her was no longer with pure adoration, but with a new, calculating fear. The trust that had been the bedrock of their kingdom began to crack. He became obsessed with her power, the very thing he had once admired. One day, he came to her with a smile that didn't reach his frightened eyes. "Let's play a game," he said, his voice a little too bright. "A challenge of shapes. Show me the wonders you can become." A cold dread washed over her, but she was his queen, and perhaps, she thought, this could mend the rift between them. She transformed for him, a soaring eagle, a small lizard, a house cat. With each change he applauded, but the fear in his eyes only grew colder, harder. "Amazing," he breathed. "But can you become something truly small? Something insignificant? A fly, perhaps?" She hesitated. It felt like a trap, but her pride and a desperate hope to regain his trust made her accept. She shrank, her power condensing into the tiny, fragile form of a fly. In that instant, she saw his smile vanish, replaced by a look of grim necessity. The world became a gaping maw as his mouth opened wide. Before she could even think to change back, he swallowed her whole. Darkness. Not the gentle, living dark of the deep ocean, but a suffocating, thundering prison. She was not dead, but she was no longer free. She existed now only in the mind of her husband, the king who had loved and feared her in equal measure. Her daughter was still with her, growing within this strange internal world. Metis would not be a victim. She could hear Zeus's thoughts, feel his power. From that very power, she began to forge a new future. Within the confines of his skull, she hammered out a helmet and shield, weaving her wisdom into the very metal. The pressure grew, an unbearable agony that was not hers, but his. Zeus roared in pain, a headache that threatened to split the heavens. He begged for relief, for someone to crack open his head and release the torment. When the axe finally fell, it was not an end, but a birth. From the wound in her captor's head sprang her daughter, Athena, fully grown, fully armed, and blazing with a wisdom that was her mother's final, defiant gift. Metis, herself, was never seen again. But she was not gone. She had become the secret voice of counsel within the king of the gods, the wisdom he had tried to conquer, now a part of him forever. Her story ended and began again in the fierce, intelligent eyes of the daughter she had loved into being.